Well, hello there guys. Today I am pleased to bring you the Commission 1920. This is a Mafia-based strategy game, however it is currently in early access, so there is a lot of work to be done here. Now, we've got several families to choose from: the Boggiana family, the Calessis, the Junios, the Donanos, and the Roccas. Each of these has, of course, their own positives and negatives, which you can see in the actual family description. Now, my favorite is the Junio family. These are basically immigrants from the old country, immigrants specifically from Sicily, coming over to try and take over the city. Now, one thing I really like right away is that there are various difficulty settings here. We're going to go with just basic normal to get started in the game. Depending on what you take, the enemies are going to have more money, they're going to be more aggressive, etc. In this case, we're just going straight for normal, and we already see the great Junio family. I love it. We got Don Junio, he's the dad, and he's got his sons Al the Weasel and Benny. So what are we going to do here? We're going to start taking over areas. Now, one thing we can do right away is actually take a look at the different areas, the different boroughs, very similar to the 5 boroughs in New York City. So I'm going to go ahead and take West Cushman, and I'm going to take Fordham as well. So the first thing we want to do is go ahead and select West Cushman. We're going to assign Al the Weasel over there and see how he does. Now, we actually have a loyalty setting, as well as a reputation setting. Al the Weasel is going to have 2 associates underneath him. We're going to take a look at them once we get into these neighborhoods. Let's send my son Benny. He's not the brightest kid, but you know what? Benny can get the job done. He's a tough guy, you know what I'm saying? So we're going to jump over here to Fordham. And to do that, we want to jump over to the territory, take a look here at Fordham, and we need to start spreading our men around. We want to take a look, though, at the maximum amount of actual soldiers in these locations. That is going to be important once we start fighting other families, and specifically just the kind of locations that they are. So one thing that I really do love about the game itself is the description of all these different territories. So spillover commuting to West Cushman for work have found a home here. With such low rent and security, it acts more as a place to sleep than a place to live. So this is Brooksfield, and it looks like it's a medium income neighborhood with lower classes. This pretty much lets you know what kind of crimes you want to go for. So certain crimes will be more effective in certain neighborhoods. Now I'm going to send Alberto Cola Trinchera, and I love this, again, with the actual nicknames that mobsters would use in these neighborhoods, just very realistic to the time period and to the Mafia in general. I'm also going to go here to Smithton. This is an artifact potential of Fordham, one of the few places in the borough that has withstood the onslaught of misfortune that has struck the area. So this is where we put more upper class, more upscale crimes, and I'm going to send Emilio Pitbull Loria over there to get things started. Now, we can't forget, in West Cushman, we also have some presence. We want to start purchasing some actual locations, but here's the problem. We have the Boggiana, or the Rocca family, in this area as well. So we want to be very careful, and we see in places like the Industrial Basin and Bensonhurst, the enemy already has muscle. If we send our guys in there and aren't prepared, well, you know what's going to happen. Our guys are going to be sleeping with the fishes. So I'm going to go to a place called Fort Brune. It's an overpopulated home to the workers of the nearby docks. So the living conditions are very poor, and I think we can really make some money here. I'm going to send Sam Tranchera over there. So let's go ahead, and let's go to Rumsfeld Beach as well. This is a place that's quite small, but it favors smuggling and theft. So we can get away with some pretty violent rackets. But some of these violent rackets are some of the first rackets that you purchase in the game. So now that we've gone to the next turn, we actually see that Tommy Valenti is right here. We're going to go to assignment for Tommy Valenti, and we're going to have him purchase some investments. So again, this place favors smuggling and it favors theft. We've got 50 grand to spend. You better bet I'm going to go ahead and get in some... I mean, the hijacking makes a lot of money, but it's quite expensive. The butcher shop produces high-quality meats and disposes of low-quality people. And you can see over here the different attributes it gives. So whether it gives you more manpower, lowers your heat, or gives you money, this is considered a very violent approach, of course. But since this place is not huge on gambling, I think the best thing to do is really something that favors theft. So robbery is theft. Let's go for it, guys. 10,000 to get the robbery racket there under Junio. And what's going to happen over time is that the cops are going to get wise to our rackets here. They're going to start increasing the heat in these neighborhoods. Another thing I love, a huge boost from the original game, is now you can actually see those smaller neighborhoods represented within the borough. And I think that's just a really, really cool touch there. Really nice touch. So total yield, conflicts, we've got no conflicts right now. We're at peace with everybody, of course. This is the Mafia, and quite often, conflict can pop off at a moment's notice without you even expecting it. So let's go here to Fort Brune. And for Fort Brune, it's large and lower class. It's usually really good to do a numbers game here, or even to do some drug dealing. Now for that, we're going to have to go over here to narcotics for 30,000, and it's an extremely expensive actual market, but since this place doesn't really go for pleasure or smuggling, I'm not going to focus on it. I'm really going to focus on something that's going to target the lower classes specifically, and that's going to be tough to do. So I think we'll just go for a good old-fashioned gambling den. The beautiful thing about the gambling den is this brings in additional mobsters, additional guys to join your family, while at the same time, you know, also making you some money. And you can see these chits next to the gambling den. If we go over here to rackets, we can see that over time, we can actually purchase investments to make existing rackets more valuable. But to do that, we have got to go ahead and get 6 investments before we can go for that. Now over here, once again, I think we're going to get away from Junio. He's going to do okay with that. We'll see how much money we bring in next turn. But where I really want to go is over here to Fordham. Let's take a look at Smithton. They hate gambling. I don't think I want to drop any rackets there. And over here at Brooksfield, there's really no bonuses except for the people being lower class. So let me run a numbers game here and just see what happens. You can actually see over time whether your business is making a profit or losing money. And yes, it can absolutely lose money if you're not doing the right thing. So here we go. We're at 26,000. Let's go one more. 29,000. We are definitely making a little bit of cash. But we're not making cash hand over fist here. Now, one interesting thing here is Al the Weasel wants to get out. He's dropped his subordinates over here in West Cushman, and he's tired of it. He wants to go and look for even more prestigious areas to make money, and I don't doubt that they exist. So let's take a look here just real quickly at Fort Brune. Just want to take a look at the situation. We could see that the heat is increasing, although it's increasing pretty slowly. And the reason being, these rackets, you know, they're pretty small rackets. We're not taking up a huge percentage of the neighborhood, so they make up a very, very small part of the crime here. But I think I want to open up another racket here in Rumsfeld Beach, especially since theft is really greatly respected here. So is smuggling. We've got to go for a hijacking ring. And for those of you that don't know, the Mafia would often make a tremendous amount of money hijacking vehicles that were carrying goods. Then they would simply sell those goods for a cheaper price, non-tax. So that's exactly what we're doing here, and maybe even selling the trucks for an additional little profit there. Now, when we go to Intel, this is an entirely different part of the game, and a really cool one too. It shows all of the other families, the Roccas, the Donanos, the Calessis, and the Boggianas. Over time, we can do a number of things to them. We could sabotage their political influence. If one of them is going to jail, we could sabotage a legal case and force him to go to prison, or we could even try and kill these guys. But to do that, we do need to unlock a lot of intelligence and a lot of influence, and only then can we really challenge one of these greater families in a fight. That being said, if both of us land on the same territory, then we actually can potentially get into a fight if we both agree, or one of us agrees to start a war. But sometimes it's best to just coexist along with your enemies and kind of let each one of them go ahead and take a piece of the pie. That's what's going on in West Cushman, Rochester, and East Cushman right now. The political aspect of the game is also quite important here, to bribe the mayor, bribe the police chief. This can keep the cops off our back for a very long time, but we don't currently have the sufficient influence to make that happen. So I'm going to wait just a little bit. I'm also going to take a look here at, not Jacopo, but Al the Weasel, and maybe we will actually change his location. I think instead what I'm going to do is just continue benefiting off these existing areas here. So let's jump over to West Cushman. Let's take a look at what we got here. So Fort Brune, it's looking nice. Let's go to Fort Brune here. We got that gambling den. I'm going to try to upgrade this investment right now. It's going to be 4,500 to upgrade the investment, but I'm really trying to bring in additional mobsters, additional, essentially soldiers to help us really control the area. Now, as for Rumsfeld Beach, we got 2 allied here? What in the world? No, just 1 allied. Just want to see the total yield. I wanted to show you guys this screen. So this lets you know if you're making money or losing money. We're absolutely making a profit here. So we're not going to change anything. We're simply going to continue onwards, keep trying to boost that cash. But you could see that is starting to go up. So the actual heat in the neighborhood is starting to increase. And that lets us know that maybe we can move elsewhere. But I think we can wait for a little bit. We don't have to move elsewhere right now. Eventually, we'd like to try that. So Fort Brune here. Now again, a large, lower class area. We've got to try to think what's going to make money in a large, lower class area. Profits start high but dwindle over time. Time-honored tradition, protection, robbery. Again, nobody has money, so robbery's not going to be very valuable. But maybe numbers would do quite well here. The other interesting thing about the Italian numbers game is as we hire people, bookies and things to sell these bets, we actually bring in additional mafia. So I'm going to go ahead and get a numbers game in Fort Brune. There we go. So far, nobody's been arrested, which I like. Of course, if you get too high up there with the actual heat, then of course you will be arrested quite quickly as well. Now over here in places like Smithton, we haven't really put anything down. And again, I think it's very important to get those gambling dens because that's what brings in the numbers. That's what brings in the soldiers. So let's get one of those gambling dens down here. And we're going to get another gambling den right there in Brooksfield. All right. So Benny Junio has expressed interest in doing another agenda. We could go ahead and move Benny out of here, although he's been doing some pretty good stuff here. He's been making us some money. We've got, of course, Sam Trinchera. We got the guys at Rumsfeld Beach looking great. But you know what? I'll allow it. I'm actually going to move from Rumsfeld Beach with Tommy Valenti over here to Streitbush. So let's do that over here. Send Tommy Valenti over. Oh, wait a minute. I didn't do that properly. Send Tommy Valenti, and we want to make sure to send associates. So these associates are pretty much the step below soldiers. They're not full-blooded Italians, so they can't actually join our family, but they absolutely still have value. So we've left this place open, Rumsfeld Beach. One thing that's quite interesting that didn't used to happen in the previous game is that even when we leave this area with our existing mafia guy, we're still making a profit there. But as soon as the enemy attacks, then I'm pretty sure they can completely destroy the area and not have to worry about any repercussions. So let's go here to Streitbush, upper class, medium, and favors financial. We got to start looking for some financial crimes. The problem is, financial crimes are very expensive. The speakeasy's looking good. The loan sharking is looking even better. So we're going to target people with exploitative interests. For those of you that don't know about loan sharking, I don't want to give out crime tips here on the channel, but essentially loan sharking is when I say to you, for instance, here's 50 bucks. Pay me 100 at the end of the week. In other words, it's exorbitant interest on existing money, and if you don't pay me at the end of the week, then you owe me the next week even more. You owe me interest. So this can become, of course, very terrifying for certain people, and they can get themselves into some pretty awful situations. My mobster voice just came out. Awful situations. Let's go ahead and start a mugging racket here, too. I know we're kind of pushing it, but I really do want to bring in those profits. And look at that, making 11,000, 21,000. Oh, man, it's looking good. But we've got to be careful. I'm sure the heat is going to start getting pretty bad over here. So let's take a look at Streitbush, Fort Brune. It's looking okay at 28. Now, once it gets to, like 70 or even 60, we can actually go ahead and we can suspend setting. Now, currently we have this set to auto, where basically as soon as heat goes above 80, rackets will automatically be suspended. I do recommend that if you want even more of a challenge in this game, don't put this on suspend auto, because this is something that you're going to actually have to pay attention throughout the game. You're going to have to visit the different rackets you have in the different neighborhoods you have, and I think that's kind of part of it. I think that's part of the mob lifestyle. But if you want to simplify it, you can do that. We can also go here to sell all investments. Some areas gets just so expensive or so full of other families that it's best to just get the hell out. Now, that's not the case right now, but it could be the case a little bit later. Right, let's go to here to Fort Bruin once again. See, we're at 32 now. Not wonderful. Now, over some point of the game, you can actually give titles to your family members, which I love. This is so cool because, you know, of course, having a mafia family, one thing that's very important is the value of certain members and what they can do, the consiglieres, the hitmen, etc. In this case, Al the Weasel, my son, Al the Weasel, is going to get the top enforcer trait. And what happens here is in this capital regime's assigned borough, receive profit for each destroyed enemy investment. That's amazing. So essentially, that allows us, once we attack another enemy family, we can actually destroy their investment and get some points for it as well. So I'm going to show you guys what that looks like, although it's going to require us to actually go to war here. So let's take a look. 2 allied. And these are just, a lot of these are just muscle. I'm seeing no enemies here. 0 opponent, 11 opponent. All right, so we're going to try to go to the industrial basin. I don't know if we have enough men for it. Let's go here. Guys, we're gonna go straight for the industrial basin. We're looking for a war. Now, the opponent here, I'm not actually sure, but unless we officially declare war here, we're not necessarily going to be engaging them. So we can actually access the inner circle here of Dominic Santora and get some information about him. Some additional information, maybe eventually even take out a hit on this guy. How awesome would that be? So we can actually try to assassinate him. But I'm going to go ahead and try to get into the inner circle here. We don't currently have enough intel for that. We're going to have to wait a bit. Let's take a look here. Over time, like I said, we'll just kind of be right next to this guy. There won't be much fighting going on for quite a while. Until we actually officially declare war on them. And I don't know if I want to do that. Going to the commission to declare war, it could be a bit of a problem. It really can. They're not exactly very happy with that. Because, you know, everybody's trying to make money. We don't want wars going on left and right. It just causes too many issues. So what we're going to do now is we are going to engage the Rakas. Again, I think it's something you wouldn't typically do in this game, but I want to show you guys how this goes down. Not to mention we've got some investments to take out in this neighborhood. In fact, their mugging investment is doing extraordinarily well. I got to give it to the Rakas. That's pretty nice. Let's go ahead. And there we go. We may have already killed one of their guys, but no, we just took him down to 8. Took him down to 3. Took him down to 1. And we got him. We kicked the Rakas out of this neighborhood. Of course, it took 4 turns, so it just goes to show you, depending on the amount of men they have in certain neighborhoods, it could take a little longer, a little longer than usual, maybe a little less long than usual, depending on how many men you have there outnumbering the enemy and how good your actual capos are. So some of your capos will have bonuses to combat. That's something to keep in mind. So let's see here, unclaimed. You know what, though? Let's get out of the industrial basin. It's a pretty bad area. The heat is also rising there. And we're going to jump over here to Stripe Bush. So let me make sure that the guys here at the industrial basin are heading over. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave 4 of my associates back there just to keep the neighborhood held for us. Now, again, this is an upper class area that favors the financial crimes. The loan sharking is doing quite well. So I'm thinking that what we'll actually do here is go ahead and just try and boost loan sharking as much as possible. Let's see. Where is it? There we go. All right, so let's take a look here. We're going to upgrade our investment for 17 grand. So this is not cheap. Maybe we'd be better off actually just purchasing an entirely new investment here at Stripe Bush. I think so. So again, upper class favors financial. What can we get that's quite expensive here? Money laundering is financial. It's also interesting because it's one of the only rackets, if not the only racket, which reduces heat instead of increasing it. So basically this will lower the focus of police in the area. I think that's going to be very, very, very useful. Extortion, though, also seems like an adequate crime. But for now, we're going to go for the money laundering. Okay, let's have one neighborhood where we're actually lowering heat instead of increasing it. But you know what? While we're at it, we might as well go for some more financial crimes. And I do believe the numbers are considered gambling. So the numbers are basically like an unofficial lottery. Narcotics, though, could do quite well here. I am going to confirm, even though it's not a specialty of the area, I do think it's going to make us a hell of a profit. An unknown family has revealed the location of Emilio Pitbull Loria using intel. And we got to be careful. Emilio Pitbull Loria is actually one of the soldiers of Arturo Boggiana. The problem is when they start unlocking information on him, that usually means that they're trying to kill him. So we want to be very careful. If they kill him, we lose an important soldier. We can always hire a new one, but things are never quite the same after that. You know, obviously the enemy showing us that they can get to us anytime. So for territory here, maybe we need to be even more aggressive with the Roca family. Of course, now we're openly at war with them. How's Fort Brune looking? See, we're getting up to 64 here. That's a little too close. 68. Salvatore Bananas Aceturo of the Roca family was arrested in connection with a mugging in Windermere. Thank goodness that wasn't us. But looks like Rocco did get arrested. And one thing that happens in this game when one of your family members gets arrested is they can actually squeal. So it's a hierarchical nature where basically if one of your associates gets arrested, there's a chance they'll squeal on your soldier. If your soldier gets arrested, there's a chance they'll squeal on one of your actual capos, one of your sons in this case. And then eventually, they can even squeal yes on the Don of the family, and he goes to jail. Game over. That can happen. So you've got to be careful. And this is where we use the legal aspect. Now, as you can see here, this is not our guy, thank goodness. But he is Salvatore of the Rocca family here. And the innocent verdict likelihood is 20%. Guilty verdict likelihood is 40%. But the chances of him actually talking is 40%. That's really what's most important. If he is declared guilty but doesn't talk, we'll just have to get a new soldier. Of course, that is annoying, but not nearly as disastrous as if he sings to authorities. So turns remaining until the trial. And one thing we can do here is go into the politics and pretty much bribe the police chief, Harry Reifel here, or even the district attorney to make sure that he either creates a paper trail or discards evidence. You know, either makes it harder for our opponent to get out of jail or tries to get one of our guys out of jail. So I think what I'm going to do here, let's just send some funds over. 3% of our funds? I don't know if I want to do that. So we'd be paying 3% of our overall funds to the district attorney. Now this is obviously an option you could take in the game. I'm not going to take it right now. I'm going the way of the streets. We fight them on the streets. That's it. Now eventually I could go down that route, just not right now. Seems a bit frightening. Looks like everybody's going for Dryer Square. That seems to be a really hot area right now. Maybe they're onto something. Maybe we should get our guys out of Strike Bush here and head on over into Dryer Square. I also want to see how this narcotics investment is doing. It's bringing up a lot of heat, and it's not bringing in a huge amount of profit. So I am going to go ahead and sell an investment here. Let's do it. Just sell this. We don't have to worry about it anymore. Absolutely beautiful. And our Junior family crew is going great. We got 2 Roccas in jail. These are, of course, guys that we're currently in a fight with anyway. So it's great to see them in prison. But who knows? The cops could be coming for us next. We do have territory very close to the Roccas, and we're currently involved in a major conflict. Well, the fight has only just begun. I mean, there's so much to be done here, and like I said, we've just now started really exploiting the city. These are the smaller rackets. Of course, we can still unlock a tremendous amount of actual new rackets, or really not new rackets, but perks to existing rackets. but this takes a while, and depending on how you want to play the game, whether you want constant infighting or whether you just want a peaceful coexistence with other Mafia families, that can all be achieved. In fact, if you really want to play goody two-shoes, we've even got a commission set up here. And the beautiful thing about the commission is, of course, if a family goes against the rules, they are going to get some penalties. Now, as you can see here, even the heads of the families, including our own boss, are currently members on that commission. But this is just a really interesting addition. There are going to be requests sent to you from commission members, and if you can complete those requests, they're going to tend to vote in your favor. And let me tell you, you absolutely want these guys on your side. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, make sure to hit that like button and drop a comment down below. Subscribe if you are new. This game is still in very early access, but we'd love you to express interest here and let us know, what you'd like to see improved, what you already enjoy, and we will get to episode 2, hopefully, before the end of this week. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll catch you on the next one. Always take your family first. Always.